Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be going over 15 movies that didn't make my top favourite list for the year 1998. Again, a lot of fun movies in this year, a lot of great comedies, some good dramas in there as well. But yeah, for me, these are just 15 movies that I think are well worth talking about, and yeah, just going to have a great time discussing them. So that being said, going to kick it off with the first pick. So coming up first, we have...
With this ring.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
A Night at the Roxbury. So this is a movie that I kind of got into because in sort of the early 2000s, I wanted to check out more Will Ferrell films, and this was one of his first ones. And I really enjoyed it, based off as well I believe the Saturday Night Live sketch as well that also included Jim Carrey. So this follows two brothers who are trying to constantly get into this nightclub called the Roxbury. And it's just about them constantly being denied, constantly, getting rejected by women as well, all at the same time. It's not reinventing the wheel, this movie. It's not very deep or profound, but again, something very, very likable about it. A lot of charm to it as well. I want to give a shout out as well to Dave from Savage Zombie Reviews, sadly no longer with us. I was on a live stream with him, and this was one of his favourite Will Ferrell films, and I can completely share the sentiment with him about this film, and we just had an absolute blast talking about it. So yeah, that is A Night at the Roxbury. So coming up next, we have...
Yo, Gomez. Got milk?
Yeah, I like that.
Hoop tips, and it's good. Double play. Bears win. And Weaver still nailing down that strikeout.
BASEketball. So yeah, this again was brought to us by the creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker. It sort of follows two childhood friends who aren't really doing great in sports, so they decide, you know what, let's invent our own sport. So a hybrid between basketball and baseball. And it's sort of about them creating this new fad, creating this new sport, and it really takes off. And an evil businessman tries to sort of do them out of their own sport, and yeah, it's not much to it. It has everything you'd expect to it. Follows a fair few beats similar to Wayne's World. Two friends trying to do something. They both fall out. They make up again. And there's an evil corporate person behind this whole sort of evil scheme. It's just a likable film. It's got a lot of charm to it, as I usually say about these films, and this one's not an exception either. It really is a fun, great time of a film. So yeah, that's BASEketball. So coming up next, we have...
I am not. What is happening?
Hello?
Hello? Understandable you're avoiding us, sir. I think you know why we're calling.
Sorry about that, I apologize.
Has become godless. What's the matter, little girl? Why are you crying? Because I want to rent King Kong Lives. Who
are you talking
really,
to?
Little girl? Well, I'm sorry, but you can't rent that. Melvin Smiley has that out right now, and he's too busy to bring it back.
I promise I'll bring it back.
The Big Hit, starring Mark Wahlberg and Lou Diamond Phillips. So again, it follows Mark Wahlberg, who pretty much plays a hitman in this film, and he sort of falls in love while sort of going through this kidnapping that he's been hired to do. What really worked for me about this film was the humour. It was very quirky, it was very sort of fast-paced and upbeat. I really, really enjoyed it. A bit similar to another film on this list, sort of about involving a kidnapping. That's sort of like a buddy cop movie, but this sort of was, again, it was just, the humour just really worked for me in this film. Really enjoyed it. It's another great Mark Wahlberg film. Not a lot of people talk about. Lou Diamond Phillips is great in the movie as well. Yeah, just a great fun cast and a great funny movie. Really enjoyed this one, so that's The Big Hit. So coming up next, we have...
With this staff, you shall do my wonders.
The Prince of Egypt. So this was one I grew up with. I absolutely loved this film. I loved the scope of it, the scale of it, the music in it was great. I know obviously it's a religious movie and that could be a massive turn-off for some people, but for me, I enjoyed it. I've got nostalgia for this. The cast of this movie is just absolutely insane. Ralph Fiennes, Val Kilmer, Jeff Goldblum, Sandra Bullock, Martin Short, Steve Martin. I think Patrick Stewart's in there as well. It's just absolutely insane. Telling this story of, obviously, the biblical Moses story that we all know. And again, the visual effects in this, absolutely top-notch. The music, absolutely stellar. Great action scenes in the movie as well, when Moses and Ramesses are chasing each other. And a final that is just jaw-dropping, just absolutely mesmerising. And yeah, I just think it's a great movie. So that's The Prince of Egypt. So coming up next, we have...
Come on, guys, really? Do you think we're contaminated?
I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like.
Well, it's not like we were covered in that shit like the driver.
Yeah, but we inhaled it. What do you think they're gonna do to us?
They're not gonna do anything to us.
As long as they don't try to give me a shot, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's just a vitamin booster. Strengthens the immune system. Won't hurt a bit.
Desert Blue. So this again is one of these movies that very rarely ever gets talked about. I absolutely love and adore this film. There's not much going on in terms of plot, or at least anything that sort of kind of makes sense in this film, but it's very, very character driven, and again, an absolutely exceptional cast. The late John Hurd is in this movie, Kate Hudson, Christina Ricci, Casey Affleck, the list goes on. It sort of follows this father and daughter who are traveling, and they sort of come across this small town which is about to sort of be blown up off of the map. It's struggling to make ends meet, and they spend time there with their characters and sort of find some sort of relatability with them as well. And they're stuck there because of a contamination that's being sort of controlled by this FBI agent, played magnificently by Michael Ironside. Again, like I said, great cast, but yeah, doesn't seem to get a lot of love, this one. Not a lot of people really seem to talk about it. I think it's great. So if you've not seen it, I do recommend checking this one out. So that is Desert Blue. So coming up next, we have...
Everybody just get a hold of themselves here, all right?
You are a lying, deviant... It was an accident!
Are you sure this
yes,
was an accident?
I'm sure! What are you doing? The floor was wet, and so I slipped. Why was the floor wet? I don't know. Why was the floor wet? I don't know. Why, goddammit? Why, you little fucking pervert?
Take it easy.
You don't fucking know.
Okay, calm down.
Very Bad Things. So again, another comedy with an absolutely stacked cast. Christian Slater, Cameron Diaz, Jon Favreau, Daniel Stern, Jeremy Piven. It all follows this bachelor party that goes horribly wrong. Someone sort of ends up accidentally killing this prostitute at this bachelor party, and everyone, as the night goes on, slowly they all start to sort of turn against each other in this film, and it just leads to some absolute brilliant comedy in this movie as the wedding gets nearer and nearer. It's just a great, well-driven cast in this film, playing all of these funny characters. Daniel Stern in particular really won me over in this film, as much as I loved him anyway, but his character, yeah, I had an absolute blast with this film. I thought it was great. Again, not a lot of people really talk about this one, so wanted to give this one some love, so that's Very Bad Things. So coming up next, we have...
Good evening, Mrs. R. Wheeler. I'm calling from the gas company, and we just wanted to thank you for being our customer over the years. I hope you are doing well and spending these final hours at peace with your loved ones. Rest assured that we will do our utmost to keep the gas flowing right until the end. Thank you, and goodbye.
Last Night. So, again, this is a movie that I very sort of rarely hear people talk about. I just really enjoyed it. Again, not much plot to it apart from the fact that it follows a group of individuals in this movie who are sort of all dealing with the news that the end of the world is going to come at the turn of the century within the next 6 hours. And again, all of them sort of deal with this news in different ways. And I just absolutely love that about this film. Again, like I said, very, very character driven. You've got Sandra Ho in there. David Cronenberg makes an appearance in this. I just thought this is a great movie. Again, not a lot of people talk about this one, so wanted to shed some light on it. So that is Last Night. So coming up next, we have...
My question is, where exactly are we supposed to get these guns?
What are you talking about? This is Los Angeles, Steve.
But you still just can't go into a store and buy one.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Susan's Plan. So again, stacked cast in this movie. Natasha Kinski, Rob Schneider, Billy Zane, Dan Aykroyd, Michael Biehn shows up in this movie. And yeah, directed by John Landis. It's just a great little movie, this one. I absolutely adore it. A lot of characters, a lot of likability going on. It's just a great little heist movie, and it just focuses on things that could and does go absolutely wrong in this film for these characters. It's a little bit brutal in parts as well, but I kind of like that about it. It plays for a good black comedy, and yeah, again, not a lot of people talk about this one, but I really enjoy it for what it is. So that is Susan's Plan. So coming up next, we have...
You know, for the first time in 24 hours, it's quiet. No hanging off of moving trucks, no bickering, no hostage situations. I must say, I'm glad we got arrested. The idea we could have stopped that package before it reached its destination was just...
Within our grasp.
Well, not really. Except that one time.
Overnight Delivery, starring Paul Rudd and Reese Witherspoon. So, again, this is a movie that doesn't really get much love, doesn't get talked about all that much. I think this movie kind of gets overshadowed by the movie Road Trip because the plots are very, very similar. Paul Rudd and his girlfriend, they sort of have this long-distance relationship. He ends up sending something by accident that he didn't mean to her, which could really jeopardize their relationship. And he wants to sort of go and intercept the mail, the delivery of it, and Reese Witherspoon joins him for the ride. You can guess and completely tell immediately from that premise where the movie is going to go and how it's going to end up. And if you've seen Road Trip, it follows it beat for beat. But this movie came out first. It did it first. And again, it just gets a bit overshadowed by Road Trip. But I absolutely love this film. I think it's a great comedy. So yeah, Larry Drake as well as the delivery man. Spot on. So yeah, that is Overnight Delivery. So coming up next, we have...
I want to tell him that I found that donor. And I want to give him hope.
To make it easier for you.
To make it easier for him.
Desperate Measures. This is a fantastic little crime thriller as well that doesn't get much love, in my opinion, starring Andy Garcia and Michael Keaton. So it follows Andy Garcia's character whose son is dying from a specific type of illness in this movie, specific type of cancer, I believe. And in order to sort of save his life, they need to do a transplant. And the only matching person is Michael Keaton, who is a convicted serial killer in this movie. So Andy Garcia has to try and convince him, sort of help him save his son's life in this film. But as you can imagine, things go wrong, and horribly wrong they go in this film. It's a great little thriller. Again, not a lot of love for this one. I think it's fantastic. So that is Desperate Measures. So coming up next, we have...
You'll go to school, straight to school, and you'll come straight home. You got it?
I'm not going back to that school. They're waiting for me.
Oh, you'll go. If I have to tie you to the desk myself, you'll go. No, music.
It's porno.
You're porno. Oh! Poop. Sorry, pal. when we're flogging the bishop.
The Faculty, yeah. Body Snatchers meets The Breakfast Club, in my opinion. I think this is a fantastic film. For the time as well, a fresh-faced cast. A lot of up-and-coming stars in this one. Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, even Usher is in this movie as well. But a great supporting cast as well. Robert Patrick, I think Christopher McDonald as well. Selma Hayek. The list just goes on. Sort of following this alien invasion that takes place at this school. Elijah Wood's pretty much the one who's very clued up, knows what's going on, but nobody will believe him. Yeah, just a great little fun. I wouldn't say horror film, but there's definitely some elements to it as well. But yeah, really, really enjoy this one. So that is The Faculty. So coming up next, we have...
Hey, Mitch! Jimmy, your new nose looks great.
Thanks. Best $200 I ever spent.
Dirty Work, starring Norm Macdonald. So I probably pretty much knew him from other comedies like Deuce Bigalow and Billy Madison. But it was great to see him at the forefront here in a leading role. It sort of follows him as this down-and-out guy who wants to raise some money. And in order to do so, him and his friend do these jobs that no one else will touch. No one else has any interest in doing, and it leads to just some great comedy in this film. You got the late Chris Farley in there as well. I think Christopher McDonald as well in another movie. Really, really enjoy this one. It's a great comedy. Again, sounding like a broken record. Not a lot of people talk about this one, but yeah, I have a blast with it. So that is Dirty Work. So coming up next, we have...
Hey, you take my ID. If anything go wrong, you bust in like your LAPD.
This won't work. I'm not 6'1".
Rush Hour, one of the best buddy cop films to come out of the 90s, in my opinion. I think Jackie Chan integrates well into the sort of, American industry and finding an American audience for his movies in this one. And he's teamed up magnificently with Chris Tucker as well. He's got Brett Ratner directing at the helm. I think these are some of his best movies, in my opinion. Chris Tucker is just absolutely tapping into something special, I think, with these Rush Hour movies, particularly the first two. Really, really enjoy it. Great comedy, great timing. The pair of them play off each other so well in this movie. Great villain as well, the late Tom Wilkinson. It sort of sees these two cops buddied up together to try and sort of help a kidnapping that goes on. Really, really enjoy it. Top-notch fun stuff. Just a great movie. Great soundtrack as well. So that is Rush Hour. So coming up next, we have...
The long, skinny one is the gas. The short, fat one is the brake. Give me the keys.
My car is not just a plaything, Vivian.
I know, it's a collector's item.
Not only that, if abused, the car could be a very dangerous piece of machinery.
All right.
Okay, now when I say so, put the key in the ignition. Not until I say so, okay?
Okay, give me him.
Slums of Beverly Hills, starring Natasha Lyonne, Alan Arkin, and Marissa Tomei. So, again, this is a good little comedy drama. Really enjoy this one. Great cast, like I said. Follows Natasha Lyonne's character, who is pretty much traveling from place to place with her family. There's no stability in her life. It's very transient. It's on the move all the time. And there's a lot of conflict there, a lot of friction with her and other family members in this movie. And I just think it's a great little, like I said, comedy drama. A lot of likability to it. Yeah, it's very fresh. I still think it holds up. 20 plus something years later. Really enjoy this one. Not a lot of plot to it either. There's not really a lot that can be said, but I just think it's a well-made film with some great comedy elements thrown in there. So, yeah, that's The Slums of Beverly Hills. So coming up next, we have, for the final film...
Kenny, stop crying. Stop crying, Kenny. Look at me. Come on, don't let him see you crying there. Come on, man. Show me your mean face. Yes, show me a mean face, Kenny. That's good. I mean, he'll work on it a little bit, but yeah, it's good.
Half Baked, starring Dave Chappelle. I was very, very late to the game with this movie. I'd heard of it through the popular zeitgeist and everything, but only really watched this for the first time this year, catching up with a stoner comedy from the 90s. And yeah, it follows a group of friends. One of them gets into trouble, gets put in jail, and they're trying to raise the money to sort of make bail for him. And in order to do so, what better way to do that than in the movie, as the movie would suggest, and sell drugs, sell weed. Yeah, and that's the movie. Dave Chappelle carries it for me, I think. He's a great comedian. Absolutely loved him in The Nutty Professor. I thought he was just so funny in that film, despite being very dislikable or unlikable. And yeah, I really had a blast with this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. Doesn't overstay its welcome at all. Very short runtime. But yeah, it's a good movie. Good comedy from the 90s. So that is Half Baked. So that is it, guys. Those are my 15 picks that didn't make my top 15 favourite movies from the year 1998. So gonna leave the video there, guys. Only one more to go. And yeah, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.